Hey Lakers fans, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into everything happening with LeBron James and the team. I've got to say, there's a lot to unpack. LeBron, as we all know, has been the cornerstone of this franchise for years, but right now, it's impossible to ignore that he hasn't looked quite himself. I've been someone who has defended him heavily over the years, giving him the benefit of the doubt in almost every situation, but even I have to admit that these first few games of the season have raised questions. And to put it in perspective, this is LeBron James we're talking about. One of the greatest players to ever play the game, someone who has dominated the league for nearly 2 decades. And yet, here we are, seeing him struggle in ways that we haven't really seen before. The reality is that he missed the entire preseason, the training camp, and a significant portion of the regular season, essentially wiping out all the work he put in during the offseason. He missed the first 14 games, which is a huge chunk of time for any player, let alone someone who is already balancing age and the natural wear and tear that comes with 23 seasons in the league. Now, after playing just 6 games, it's clear that he's still trying to find his rhythm. It's important to remember that LeBron doesn't go from being an elite MVP caliber player to someone who can't maintain his game overnight. 6 months ago, he was still in the conversation as one of the top players in the league, arguably top 10, maybe even top 7, and yet now people are quick to say he's a shell of his former self. That's not realistic. The man has never been selfish. He's always prioritized the team over individual accolades, and even when he loses opportunities, he makes the right play. That consistency and selflessness are part of what makes him LeBron. He's not worried about scoring in this moment or racking up statistics. He's focused on contributing in ways that make the Lakers better. And to be fair, he's dealing with multiple challenges, conditioning, missed preparation, and integrating himself into a team that has other players stepping up and performing at elite levels. Austin Reeves is playing like an MVP candidate, and Luka Doncic, well, he's doing what Luka Doncic does, dominating whenever he's on the floor. LeBron is aware of all this, and at 41, in his 23rd season, he knows his role has shifted. He's not the sole focal point anymore, and that adjustment is not just physical, but mental as well. What's happening right now is a combination of factors. There might be a slight decline, naturally, with age, but much of what we're seeing is him fitting into a system, letting the younger players lead while he integrates slowly. He's only 6 games in, and for a player who hasn't had any preseason or training camp, that's hardly enough time to regain the form we expect from someone of his caliber. The man has done it before, coming back from injuries and missing stretches, taking a few games to fully get back into the rhythm. And we saw last year, when he returned mid-season, it took several games before he was operating at the level we associate with him. This is not new, and it's not cause for alarm yet. People forget that he could easily force the issue, go after stats, chase MVP consideration, or push to dominate the game. But that's not who he is. LeBron is playing within the team structure, making decisions that prioritize collective success over individual glory. And that's part of the reason why his game might look different than what fans are used to seeing. But there is a concern that we cannot ignore, and it's not about scoring or missing records. It's about his body language and how engaged he appears on the court. Over the last few games, there have been moments where he seemed checked out. We've all seen him struggle with injuries, and he's always come back invested, motivated, and ready to compete. This time, though, it's different. Watching him during some of the critical plays, it almost feels like he's absent. There have been instances where he's not sprinting back on defense, not fully participating in the hustle plays, or standing on the court watching situations unfold without reacting. As a Lakers fan, and someone who has defended him fiercely, this is worrying because it's a departure from the LeBron we know. The leader who rallies teammates, commands attention, and is fully engaged every time he steps on the floor. His lack of visible intensity is noticeable, and it sparks questions about whether this is purely physical, a mental distraction, or something else entirely. Some have speculated about potential dissatisfaction with his role, being more of a supporting option rather than a main star. Others think it could be fatigue, adjusting to missed games, or even just the mental challenge of playing at 41 in a highly competitive league. Whatever the reason, it's clear that LeBron's current demeanor is a conversation that cannot be ignored. Even his interactions with teammates have been peculiar at times, like dismissing communication or appearing disengaged during plays that demand leadership. Fans and analysts alike are noticing this, and it adds another layer of intrigue to the Lakers season. The reality is LeBron's talent remains undeniable, and given time, it's likely he will find his rhythm again, return to scoring consistently, and reintegrate fully into the flow of the game. However, the moments where he seems distant or uninvested are enough to make people question his mindset, his motivation, and ultimately, what he envisions for this season and the remainder of his career with the Lakers. It's fascinating because you can separate the skill from the engagement. Even when he's not fully present mentally, LeBron can still make plays that others cannot, but it's the mental presence, the leadership, and the emotional energy he brings that elevate a team from good to great. When that is missing, it's noticeable, and for a player who has built his legacy on influencing every aspect of the game, this is striking. The Lakers are watching, the league is watching, and fans everywhere are paying attention. And while it's premature to declare any decline or label his performance as diminished permanently, these early indicators are a puzzle that deserves scrutiny. This is not about criticizing LeBron unfairly. It's about observing a unique moment in his career where his engagement, not his talent, is under the microscope. The other layer to consider is how he fits into the Lakers system with emerging stars like Austin Reeves. The dynamic has shifted, and LeBron is adapting, letting the younger players carry more responsibility while he figures out his positioning and rhythm. That adjustment takes time, especially for someone who has spent nearly his entire career as the central figure. The challenge now is balancing the natural physical limitations of age with the need to be a leader on the floor, and watching how he navigates this early phase of the season is intriguing, thought-provoking, and for some, a bit concerning. It raises questions about long-term planning for the Lakers, potential rotations, and even future roster decisions. Observing LeBron in this context is like watching a master craftsman adjust to a new workshop with different tools and helpers. His talent is intact, but the integration into this new environment requires patience and observation before any definitive judgment can be made. At the end of the day, what's clear is that LeBron is navigating a unique scenario in his career. He is adjusting to missed preparation, managing age, mentoring rising stars, and still playing at a high level despite all these factors. Yet, there are moments where he appears checked out, moments that leave fans and analysts asking questions about his focus, his investment, and what he's thinking in critical moments. This duality, extraordinary skill combined with moments of disengagement, makes the current Lakers season a fascinating case study in leadership, adaptation, and longevity in professional basketball. LeBron's influence remains monumental, but how he manifests that influence on a nightly basis is under close scrutiny, and every action, every play, every decision he makes on the court is being dissected with a keen eye by observers who want to understand not just the player, but the evolving legend as he navigates one of the most interesting chapters of his career. Picking up from where we left off, let's talk more about how LeBron is handling the dynamics of the Lakers this season. It's not just about individual performance anymore. It's about adapting to a team that has evolved around him. This is a team where younger players are stepping into more prominent roles, and the shift in responsibilities means LeBron has to find a balance between leadership, mentoring, and still maintaining his own game. That's not an easy task, especially for someone who's spent over 2 decades being the central figure on the floor. Watching him, it's clear that he's consciously choosing when to assert himself and when to step back. He's letting Austin Reeves take charge on offense, letting other players handle certain situations, and picking his moments carefully. At 41, with a career that has spanned so many seasons, LeBron is recalibrating not just physically but mentally, and that's a process that requires patience from both the team and the fans. What's striking this season is that even with these adjustments, there's still a sense of unpredictability about his performance. Some nights, he looks like the LeBron of old, weaving through defenses, creating plays, and asserting control over the game. Other nights, he seems distant, almost removed from the pace of the game. That contrast has sparked endless debate among fans, analysts, and former players, because this is not a man who has ever shown inconsistency due to lack of effort. He has always played with heart, intensity, and a commitment to winning that defines his career. So when we see moments where he's not fully engaged, it raises questions about what's happening behind the scenes. Is it fatigue, the challenge of adapting to a new team dynamic, or something deeper that we don't yet understand? Whatever the cause, it's hard not to notice, and it's an essential part of the conversation around the Lakers this year. Another aspect to consider is how LeBron's approach impacts the chemistry of the team. The Lakers have talented players, and the emerging stars are stepping into larger roles. But they also look to LeBron for guidance, encouragement, and a sense of direction during critical moments. When he's fully engaged, he elevates everyone around him, setting an example that energizes the entire squad. When he's checked out, however, it creates gaps, both on the court and in terms of leadership. That's not to say that LeBron is not contributing. He is still making plays that only he can make, but the emotional investment that we're used to seeing seems to be inconsistent, and that affects how the team functions in those high-pressure moments. It's a delicate balance, and watching how the Lakers adjust to this new dynamic is one of the most compelling storylines of the season. Even with these concerns, it's clear that LeBron's strategic understanding of the game remains unmatched. He knows when to push, when to pass, and how to manage minutes in a way that preserves his longevity. Unlike earlier in his career, where he might have taken over games to guarantee victory, now he's navigating the challenge of being part of a larger system where multiple players need to shine. That adjustment takes a toll on any athlete, especially one who has been the centerpiece for so long, but LeBron's basketball IQ allows him to stay relevant even when he's not dominating the stat sheet. Watching him move through these games, you see a player who is constantly evaluating, constantly calculating, and constantly adjusting his approach to maximize team performance without forcing his presence in situations where it might not be necessary. That's a level of maturity and understanding that only comes with experience, and it's part of what separates LeBron from any other player in the history of the league. However, despite the intellectual mastery, the physical reality cannot be ignored. Age, mispreparation, and the natural wear and tear from a long career mean that LeBron cannot simply rely on athleticism alone. Every step, every jump, every sprint requires careful management of his body, and that inevitably influences how he interacts with the game. It's easy to assume that someone of his caliber could just turn it on at will, but this is a different stage of his career. The level of strategic pacing, decision-making, and energy management we're seeing is unprecedented for a player still performing at an elite level past 40. It's not just about scoring or defense. It's about how he distributes his energy, how he chooses to involve himself in critical plays, and how he preserves his body for the moments that matter most. Watching this unfold in real time gives fans a unique insight into what it takes to maintain elite performance over an exceptionally long career. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, whispers are swirling across the NBA landscape, and the latest buzz has sent shockwaves through Los Angeles. Sources close to the team suggest that a key Clippers player has tentatively accepted an offer from the Lakers, igniting speculation about one of the most dramatic shifts the league could see in recent years. While nothing is officially confirmed, insiders describe the move as a significant step in what could be a blockbuster transition between the city's rival franchises. Fans on both sides are reacting with a mixture of disbelief and excitement. Clippers supporters are bracing for a potentially bitter loss, while Lakers fans are already imagining how this acquisition might reshape their roster. The player in question, known for his dynamic style and ability to shift the momentum of games, would instantly become one of the most talked-about figures in the league if the deal comes to fruition. Analysts are already speculating about the ripple effects this could have, not just for the two Los Angeles teams, but for the balance of power across the NBA. Sources hint that negotiations have been ongoing behind closed doors, with conversations described as intense yet constructive. The Lakers, reportedly eager to bolster their lineup, seem willing to offer a package that could entice the Clippers star. Meanwhile, whispers suggest that the player has been privately weighing the appeal of joining a historic rival franchise, considering everything from championship prospects to personal legacy. Every small signal, Instagram likes, cryptic tweets, and reported meeting details, has been dissected by fans and media alike, creating a constant stream of speculation that fuels the rumor mill. Of course, the NBA world knows how quickly these things can shift. Deals can falter in an instant, and agents play their cards close to the chest. But the current chatter paints a vivid picture. One of LA's most talented athletes potentially swapping the red, white, and blue for the purple and gold. If it happens, the implications would be monumental, and the city would find itself caught in a whirlwind of debate, excitement, and rivalry like never before. Until an official announcement lands, all eyes will remain glued to any hint, any gesture, and any snippet of news that could confirm or deny what might be the NBA's latest blockbuster story. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.